Don't kill this tiny dog walking up to us right now. It happens to us all the time in our neighborhood, and I'm lucky Cora's mostly a good dog, but she has been known to snap when she feels uncomfortable, and I'm just like, hello, I'm like yelling into their door. I'm like, your dog's out here in the street, like, and it's approaching a pit bull, like.
People can't think out of their own brains. They're just like, my dog's not gonna attack anybody.
Right. Yeah, like, you don't know what this dog's gonna fucking do. My mom's dog only wants to kill my dog. But any other dog she's fine with. Not any other dog. Big dog she wants to kill. Small dog she's fine with them because she's like, they're not a threat.
Right.
So like my brother's dog is Bodhi's size, so she doesn't really give a fuck about him. My sister's got a Chihuahua, she doesn't give a fuck about him. But she sees Cora and they're just like, they will not stop snarling and fucking trying to rip each other's throats out.
They don't. You got to decide the hierarchy, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm like. We gotta just let them have at it for a minute, but. They're
That's
just gonna. I'm gonna end up with vet bills. Like
every new job I get, I choose the biggest, strongest guy there and just punch him in the face.
There's like, look, I need to talk to you about this. We really liked what you did there.
Yeah, he's been bullying us for years.
We didn't like that janitor anyways.
Yeah. I think he might have been special needs.
When you snapped the mop over his face, that we thought you showed a lot of creativity there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's my mop! That's my mop!
A lot of ingenuity, using the tools at your disposal.
And you didn't stop until we dragged you off of him, and that's the kind of attitude we need.
You finished the job.
Perseverance is important in this line
You
of
had
work.
your fingers digging into his trachea, and you didn't let it distract you.
Oh, if only we could beat people at our workplace.
Oh,
Dude, I would
slaughter.
There's
way more fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of big dudes at my work.
There's a lot of like 60-year-old Tibetan women at my work.
Oh, you would just be
I would
clobber
look
knocking.
60-year-old Tibetan women.
Oh, God.
I would look like a cave troll just
Yeah.
ripping.
Oh, man. Real slobber knocker.
They're not fighters, though, from my understanding.
But Chris, I was thinking, since you are one of the founding fathers of LTYF,
Yeah.
I thought it would be a good opportunity for you to open the show, being as it was that you are one of the pillars of the show being a show.
That's a lot of pressure.
So whatever you want to say, introduce yourself, introduce us, say whatever you feel like would be cool. And
Man,
the
I'm
whole
glad he's
world
never
is
done this to
watching.
me. I'm glad he never put this one on me, man.
So here you go.
Butts. Today we're talking about butts.
Everything but.
Is the brown eye the best part? Who knows? Let's
Is
talk about
there
it.
ever enough butt?
We've talked a lot about butts.
Yeah, we're not shy about butts.
A guy at my work was like, hey, I checked out one of your episodes. And I was like, oh, cool. What'd you think? He's like, you guys talked a lot about buttholes. I was like, I remember that
Dude, I
episode.
hope no one at my work ever hears a single episode
Well,
of this,
I went
dude.
as long as I could without telling anybody, but
I'll-
he sort of got it out of me. He's
I'll
like, what did
fucking-
you do this weekend? I was like, all right, I recorded a show I do.
Yeah.
You could tell that you were keeping something from him.
Yeah.
I want everyone to hear it except anyone at my work. 'Cause
Except
I'll-
anyone that I know and knows me. And
I'll be fired for sure.
anyways, Chris, whatever.
That was his intro. We did it. We're here. We're in there.
I don't think you have to worry about the work thing, though, because I think it's been proven that you can't get fired for anything you put on the internet.
No, I don't. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that is
that, no
definitely-
precedent has ever been set for
It
that.
never happens to anybody.
I carefully deleted all of my social media for this exact reason, and here I am.
Yeah.
No, I don't fucking care.
No, I don't give a
That wasn't real.
This episode is sponsored by Truly.
Nope.
Truly horrible times. TM.
That's trademarked by Truly.
That's a good satire commercial for Truly, though. Truly horrible times. It's just like everyone at the party is just like on fire behind the guy.
It's 2020. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Truly.
When you need a hard seltzer for truly terrible times.
What do you guys think for a band name? Just Balls.
Okay.
Like, everybody, welcome to the stage, Just Balls.
Oh, the just is actually in the title?
Yeah, just balls.
Oh, not just
Like no dick, just balls.
I didn't think of it that way.
Okay.
Now I like
Maybe
it.
it needs to be more clear.
At first, I didn't like it. Now
You're
I
just like,
it.
what the fuck is
just
that?
balls. What a horrible fucking date.
Just
And what a
balls.
horrible ending to a date that would be.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't tell you I only have balls.
This is going to be challenging.
In order for you to get pregnant, you need to stab a turkey baster into the hole where my...
No, he has a hole where like he pees
It's
out
basically
of it.
like a second butthole
Yeah.
where his dick was.
Yeah.
And you turkey base suck it out.
This is over. This is straight done. Sponsored by Truly. Truly the worst experience you're going to have.
Oh, we're not big enough to get sued yet.
No.
I say yet.
You never know, man.
It would be fun to get sued, I feel like, for something like that.
Yeah.
good press.
Dude, you said you were going to fucking full-on rape Donald Trump into a wall
Yeah.
last episode.
Oh, yeah, no.
So, like,
did you hear
if
that?
we're
I
ever
did,
going to
yeah.
get sued, that's the fucking one thing that, like, probably we're going to get some heat for.
It was visual, too. I recall something about, like, making his face into a soup or something.
Yeah, smashing his head into a wall, turning it into a bowl of soup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Bing, bing. I love it.
I just couldn't stop thinking about his ass and how, like,
Very chewy.
you'd have to really spread those cheeks to get to the
Yeah.
asshole, and it's probably real red and
Imagine fucking Donald Trump from the back and you got your hands like on his ass cheeks
Bing, boom, right under the toilet.
and then you lift them up afterwards and they're just covered in Cheeto
or
dust.
just fake tan, spray tan, just like
spray, wet, soppy spray tan and sweat mixed with Cheeto powder.
Oh, man.
Just like you stuck your hands into a bag of Cheetos that was only the powder from Cheetos and pulled them out.
That's the end of that. Bing, bing, bing. You know, it's the only thing he can say.
that must be how Mitch McConnell feels.
All right, guys, welcome back to Listen to Your Friends.
Yeah.
This is Justin Burt.
We were gonna be all about butts. Oh, I'm Vince DeVilla.
This is We Are All About Butts, Vince DeVilla, and Chris Woods. Chris Woods was on episode 12. Great episode. Check it out.
Cheaper by the dozen.
Exactly.
No,
That's what they say.
Steve Martin.
Is that like a sex trafficking term?
Oh, somebody get Ashton Kutcher on the phone. I don't fucking
Yeah.
know, dude.
Can't
All right.
imagine that 12 of anything along those lines is going to be cheaper in
Yeah.
any way.
But if you, I'm saying like a Costco's or like in bulk, is it cheaper in bulk?
Well, if one
When
of
it comes
them's,
to human
if one of
children.
them's pregnant, then you got two.
There you, well,
There's right
there
there.
you go. You have one lying in wait.
So like, here's 10 women and one pregnant woman. That's a dozen.
I'm glad that
We're gonna get sued by the human trafficking industry.
I'm just like, come on, guys. They call us up. It's
like,
like,
this is dark,
Yeah.
dude.
we're also sponsored by Truly, and we need you guys to calm down. I'm glad we
shit.
haven't gone too far from our roots.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say right now. I mean,
Yeah, this
I
is-
feel better already.
This is gonna
That's
make
what
it
I'm
past
saying.
the screeners at the next employment opportunity.
I want to go back to work and have my boss just be like, I'd like to talk to you in my office. I really laughed at the raping Donald Trump thing.
But the Secret Service is here.
Do you have any illustrating skills?
They're just like, we're looking for Ashton Kutcher. He wasn't what he said he was.
Oh,
Do you know him? What do you think about Boston Dynamics?
I was working
I
on my
have-
Bill Burr. My Bill Burr was way better at home. Man.
Dude,
I have
say.
pictured the same thing many times.
Right.
Those things, as soon as they mount any kind of weapon to its back,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh,
These are my
this is
knees.
over.
Oh, we forgot protesting is illegal.
Yeah.
Well, you have to think, though. I mean, they are in contract directly with DARPA. So what are the versions of those robots that we don't see?
Yeah.
Like, what are the versions
yeah.
that are getting sent to
Right.
be tested by the Army and stuff?
Yeah.
They are
It-
probably insane.
Terrifying,
Yeah.
dude. Absolutely terrifying. And it's a joke right now until the first one hits the fucking...
Well, dude, Elon
the first-
Musk has been warning everyone, like, hey, like, this is cool and everything, but seriously, we gotta be careful.
Do they have to be 40 times faster than us?
Yeah.
Yes. There's no way around that. They're just gonna be.
The one that does parkour is just the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It's just like, why are you teaching it that?
Like, I should be seeing it bagging fucking groceries. Like, show me that. Like, we'll start there. I don't need to see it scaling a fucking building. Like,
Why does it need to be able to do standing backflips?
yeah. Dude, Tom
should be able to
Cruise
do
is
that.
worried for his fucking job. They're gonna be the next fucking action stars. They're just robots.
They're already doing that. I saw some article, I think today, that some movie is casting a robot from one of those companies, one of the companies that's specializing in the like realistic type facial expressions and stuff. They're gonna put one in a movie.
Mission Impossible 13, starring A1-197.
And Elon Musk's kid with the fucked up ass
Yeah,
name.
same name, different guy.
This one's actually a robot.
Yeah, what the fuck was that kid's name?
I don't know.
It was something real dumb.
I think he did it on purpose so that everyone would go, "Oh, that is a dumb name," and then they would forget about the child, so that it wouldn't be like Jamie Musk, and everyone tracking and following the child as it grows up.
If I was him, I would have named the kid like Deep
Musk.
Pungent Musk.
You think he never thought of that? He had to have thought of that.
I could have had my mind think about millions of names, but I'm going to Mars, so I can't spend time.
Yeah, so you're the Elon voice guy
You guys have,
from now on.
You guys have watched a lot of Elon Musk talk, because is that what he sounds like? That seems like that must
It's
be what
pretty
he...
close.
If I were
Yeah.
to picture him talking, like, that's definitely what he would sound like.
I got stories.
Stories from the web, from the World Wide Web.
The www.internet.com.
This is sad.
Oh, no.
They're all sad.
Damn.
So let's
The
just
Elon
have fun.
stories?
No, sadly. This one's
go
about
sad.
Gandhi. You guys want to have your thoughts and ideas and images about Gandhi completely destroyed?
Gandhi? I didn't even know he was here.
Oh, fuck that.
He's in the past.
I mean,
He's truly dead.
yeah, fuck me up about Gandhi. I don't give a shit.
All right. Have you ever heard anything bad about Gandhi before?
Yes,
Yeah.
his sexual practices.
Yeah.
All
He's
right,
a
well, fuck
womanizer
me.
and all that.
I didn't know about that
beating
stuff.
on people.
I didn't know, but his statues are being removed
In India?
in India.
Wow.
They have already been, since a year ago, they've been being removed. Non-people of Indian descent, where the Gandhi statue is anywhere else in the world, they're also petitioning to have all of his statues removed.
I don't know the extent of his bad.
So, when Martin Luther King Jr. visited the villa in Mumbai, India, where Gandhi stayed in the 1920s, he had a special request. He wanted to spend the night in Gandhi's bedroom. It was 1959, 11 years after Gandhi's death.
Oh, that would have been an important detail.
Yeah.
I was saying.
It's like, I want to sleep with Gandhi.
Martin Luther King and Gandhi fucked.
This is a South Park episode in the making.
And they birthed a dove. Just a dove. A bird. And it was
And that bird,
disease.
Prince.
There's
Oh.
dearly beloved.
I thought of Prince's face right there. And I was just like,
I can only think of Dave Chappelle.
dude, anybody wants some pancakes?
This is truly what it sounds like when a dove cries.
Is that
Anyways.
Gandhi?
Yeah, that was supposed to be Gandhi. So anyways, Martin Luther King wanted to stay in his bedroom because he said he felt the vibrations of Gandhi inside. So he was a vibrations guy.
Before it was cool.
Yeah, he had a vibrator.
I've heard there's some good vibrations.
Yeah.
Good molestation, Gandhi. After Martin
Gotta do
Luther
it real
King told All India Radio that he decided to adopt Gandhi's method of civil disobedience as his own. Now, 6 decades later, many black people are calling Gandhi a racist. The Me Too activists are questioning his sexual practices, and Hindu nationalists are rejecting Gandhi's vision of a pluralistic India that is strengthened by diversity. Last year, a Gandhi statue was removed from a university campus in Ghana. Activists there and in Malawi are using the hashtag Gandhi must fall. They're angry about his early writings in 1903. So apparently Gandhi went to South Africa in 1903 and said, "The white people there should be the predominant race." There's no way around it. Gandhi was a racist early in his life, says his biographer. Gandhi, as a young man, went with the ideas of his culture and his time. He thought that in his 20s that Europeans are the most civilized, Indians were almost as civilized, and Africans were uncivilized. However, he outgrew his racism quite decisively, and most of the rest of his life was a public figure, anti-racist, anti-discrimination for all kinds, and was an activist for women's rights. And he died. Any thoughts?
That sums it up. So, if you were alive when Gandhi was, what do you think if you lived here, the same place you do now, what is the likelihood that you ever in your entire life would have encountered an Indian person at all, or even seen a film of someone, like you had books? They read about people.
Yeah, if
people
we were
didn't understand
then, you
each
mean?
other.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Well,
it's,
that's
it's
why-
hard to dig down on people that were alive in a time where the separation was ratcheted up.
Yeah, so more than we can even understand.
Well, yeah.
Really.
Well, that's what the biographer was saying. He was like, he was a person of his times,
Yeah.
But then as he grew into himself and became what he was when he died, he was not about that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Well, and that's like what matters,
Right.
in the end, like, because everybody is a product of their experiences, and your first thought about something is kind of like the response that was bred into you, or
Right.
that you were like trained to have. Somebody else wins the lottery, maybe you get jealous about it or whatever it might be, but like your second thought about that, if it's, well, that's irrational, like I shouldn't worry about how much someone else has, like I should only worry about myself, like your next thought is your own thought. You're
Right.
like, so you have your initial gut reaction to things that you might have been trained to, inadvertently have. But as long as you are able to think beyond that and think, is this the right response? Or am I being envious? Am I being defensive? Am I being this? Am I being that? Like,
Well, and especially
and
when
so,
it comes,
like, when you're a young man and you're
Yeah.
racist, like, and you grow up and you realize, like, wow, like, I was ignorant. I believed what I knew at the time, but now I have new information and I've changed my stance. Like, that's the true Gandhi.
how can you-
That's who he really is as a person.
How can you be a logical person and not adapt to new information?
Right.
And
it's-
also, like you were saying, in those times, obviously there was no internet. There was no like, oh, I'm going to learn about this subject
Yeah.
or these people. Like,
Yeah.
type, there we go. I know everything now. That didn't exist. People weren't even flying places on a regular, but that wasn't a regular thing to be
Yeah.
doing. You
Right.
people don't just go traveling to different
Yeah.
countries across
Right.
the world and experience different cultures. Most people were lucky to leave where they fucking grew up. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wonder why he said that Indian people were second most civilized.
That sounds like some imperialistic propaganda
like,
shit.
oh, I'm saying this
He was
because I am
probably
in India.
was he, I don't know much about his young life, but did he go to decent schools? Was he like a fairly well educated as a young man?
Yeah, and it was when
But like those
the British were
universities
still
and
ruling
like
there.
yeah, so like the education that you got was a whitewashed education, the same as it is in America that we learned Christopher fucking Columbus was a fucking hero and shit. Like, so as a young man, he's probably learning a lot of these imperialistic fucking ideas, like, oh, the white colonists are a little more, we're bringing civilization to India. Look where you were before we showed up and brought you fucking tea and scones and shit.
With respect, Mr. Gandhi, without British administration, this country would be reduced to chaos.
So like, yeah,
We still had that.
So that's your first. That's what he was taught first. But as he grew up and started learning for himself, obviously he recanted those beliefs and realized, like, I was fed this fucking information.
Well, yeah, it's
Indian
like
history,
if R.
but-
Kelly went his whole life peeing on kids, and then one day was like, I don't think what I've been doing is right.
Or if like he went to peeing on kids school and they taught him like this is pretty much normal. Like kids aren't quite as civilized as you, so you're allowed to pee on them.
Fault
But
if
then
he
he
went to peeing on kids,
right,
school.
and then he grew up and went to a new school, and they're like, "Oh, we don't pee on kids here." And
Would have
Straight
been
A
a
student.
great R. Kelly song is his explaining his experience
yeah,
in peeing on people.
yeah. It's like y'all don't understand. It's how I was raised. But yeah, I mean, he's exactly that. He's a product of his time.
Okay, so but then a lot of people would say to that is a false argument and ignorant of like, okay, yes, he was a victim of his environment and the times he was in, but that doesn't excuse, because where we are now, we're trying to get away from that. That's why there's all these statues being taken out of people who in the past were, to our standards, completely monstrous.
What if in 50 years we develop science that we can understand the thoughts of animals and we realize that they have complex emotional responses to the way we treat them?
I want
and
that.
a new movement starts towards veganism or vegetarianism to where we no longer mistreat animals that way. Are our grandchildren gonna look at us like savages and like
Right.
take our pictures down off the wall because we fucking ate meat?
I agree with that. No, that's a good example.
I don't, like,
Yeah.
yes, we, over time, like, we get better and, we get more civilized, but, like, Gandhi, who he was in his later life, obviously doesn't line up with the things that he said in his younger life. And so it's like, why can't you forgive that? But then again, I don't know what kind of horrible shit he did in his older life.
One thing, I want to keep going on that lane, but there's one thing I left out about the sexual stuff.
I knew there had to be more.
He would sleep naked with his niece.
Okay, I've heard that before.
Apparently,
And
the reason
yeah.
why he did it was because he was like, I need to test my discipline over my sexuality.
Yeah.
Sure, man.
It's like, so you're saying you really want to fuck your niece?
Yeah, what?
But I'm so strong that I won't do it.
Again, different times, though. Hitler fucked his niece.
That's
Two
like- that's-
totally different people.
That's a shining example of
Yeah.
morality right there.
I try to really sit down every day and measure myself against Hitler.
Yeah,
But-
he
but hold on.
fucked his niece. I can fuck my
No,
niece.
but what about this? But Hitler and Gandhi have something in common.
Did Gandhi fuck his niece, or did he sleep naked next to
We
her?
don't know. All we know is that he slept with his balls and dick out.
It wasn't just balls.
I'm sure he rolled. Yeah. I am not just balls. I also have a dick. I have a very huge dick.
I don't. Can you do
Then
a
I
Gandhi
sleep
impression?
next to my niece. I squirt and squirt all over the bed.
That is
Gandhi,
German.
yeah, Gandhi is from. Isn't this Gandhi and Hitler
That's
are
what
now
I'm trying
one
to
guy?
make happen.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
Audibly, I gave you a visual.
This
of
is like a-
them melding together.
So you're kind of presenting a character like what was
I'm
the
saying Hitler was Gandhi.
what was the Rick and Morty guy, the half Abraham Lincoln?
Oh
half
yeah,
Hitler?
Oh, yeah. So conflicted.
Just his life was agony because of the conflict within. I'd like to go back to something you said about like if we find out that animals can, if we develop some
Yeah.
kind of technology to speak with them.
yeah.
I feel like there's an opportunity there because I want to go hunt and kill a deer, but I almost feel bad that I can't explain to him like, hey,
Yeah.
like this is better because the cows, like they're all stuffed into like a big
Yeah.
barn together and it sucks and they're
Yeah.
scared and freaked out and then we murder them. So I feel like it would be nice to have that moment where
Yeah.
he's dying and be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, you
He's
know,
like,
I understand.
as long as you're not supporting confinement dairy, this is fine.
The deer's just dying, just gurgling blood. Just like, I don't give a fuck about a cow.
Did you see what you just did to me?
And then your little earpiece starts picking up his family's thoughts in the fucking bushes. Bambi over there.
Why is he talking to me? Is he taunting him?
There's
Dad
one deer in the
bleeding.
family's a know-it-all, just like, well, actually, what he's saying is true about the
Yeah. They do have it pretty tough.
Your brother's dying right now. It's like, I'm just saying, he's right about what he said about the cows.
Hunting isn't necessarily immoral.
Are you live streaming this?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on that note, just if you were to just shoot a deer in the brain or put an arrow through its heart immediately, that's the best way it's ever going to die out in the wild. Because otherwise, they're just going to be eaten while they're alive by a predator.
Yeah, or just like get too sick and.
How do you know? How do you know that deer don't orgasm so hard sometimes
Yeah.
that
Once they hit a certain age, yeah.
their body fails them in a moment?
The bear's
of
like,
pure
what the
pleasure.
fuck, man?
Bear's like, that's why we fucking kill you guys.
You guys are weird.
You taste like shit, but you
Bears
guys are
just
fucking weird.
stop eating deers because they're weirded out about how much they come all the time when they're eating them. Deer's just like, what's going on? Why are all the bears? I don't know why they have to be gay. Why are there no more bears eating us
You
anymore?
just can't get a good bear to eat you anymore.
The deer's just like, come on, big boy. And the bear's just like, oh, I'm good.
I'm gonna have some berries.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat berries.
These salmon don't come. So.
They go to the flopping salmon in their mouth is just like, oh yeah,
The bear's like, fuck this.
everything's coming.
I'm gonna go fucking hibernate.
And then have wet dreams for 6 months. I don't know how long they hibernate.
That sounds about right.
Do they have wet dreams?
I don't know.
I
Bears have
gotta
wet
get
dreams.
inside their heads. I gotta create this technology.
This technology is important. Would you still eat meat though? What if we got inside their heads and we go into a fucking dairy and all the cows are like, "No, we fucking love it in here. This is fucking great.
This is great.
This is all we ever wanted."
They give cows VR.
No, that would never happen. All you would hear is fucking screaming if you could hear the thoughts.
I haven't thought about that. You might be able to put animals into VR.
They do that. They've started to
Someone
do that.
thought of that.
Of course they
Yeah,
have.
someone thought of
It
that.
started, I believe, in Russia. We talked about it before, but
Really?
they're starting to give cows VR
So-
to make them calmer.
They're just think that they're chilling and
Yeah.
realize that's what the robots did to us
Right in the
Matrix.
Matrix. Yeah.
The farmers are just like, wait, are we the cows?
They just give the cows like really like violent VR video games to play, like
There's like
horror, just horror games for the cows.
They're just VR of cows being slaughtered.
Fuck, they're like, we think we've maximized cruelty in Russia. You've heard of cruelty-free beef. How about maximum cruelty beef?
We feel like the traditional slaughterhouse. They're not expecting it enough.
Dude, maximum cruelty beef. It's gotta be one of the best things I've heard in a while. We gotta do an ad for maximum
They just
cruelty
beat
beef.
the cows to death with baseball bats like fucking Negan from The Walking Dead.
Just barbed wire baseball bats.
Maximum cruelty.
Oh man.
Your burger tastes like pure adrenaline.
Well, I mean, what if
all-new
it
fear
did?
burger.
What if it created like another flavor?
If it was a
profile
better
in the
flavor,
meat?
Yeah.
we'd be fucking beating cows to death for
Well,
years by now.
People eat veal.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, or fucking what's the duck liver?
Oh,
foie
foie
gras,
gras.
where they like force feed baby ducklings
Oh
like
my
until they
God.
just die.
Are
because
they still doing that?
That's
That's
for sure. They're still doing that shit.
I thought you were cheersing to that. You were wiping your
Cheers to
face
that
off.
shit.
Of course you're still doing it.
God bless them.
Fucking, I love the French.
I mean, hey, that's the thing is sometimes I feel like we sacrifice things for our new values. Like
Sometimes,
the French,
like, all the time.
the French are gods in culinary flavors,
Innovators,
and,
yeah.
and sometimes they got to do some fucked up shit to achieve that, like stuff a baby's duck. Stuff a baby's duck.
Like you give your child a duck as a gift and then stuff it in front of you.
That's another thing along like Maximum cruelty beef is like child-raised poultry.
Yeah.
This duck was tenderly raised by a loving 3-year-old.
Yeah.
The back of my head hurts.
Then was ripped away from it viciously.
Oh my god!
The child's rite of passage
Yeah.
was to kill the duck.
I've been really bad at remembering things I was just gonna say lately. But hey, we're all gonna die someday.
We're all getting older.
Yeah. All cheers to that. We are truly.
Cheers.
I just poured Truly into my lap.
If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
That was pretty overtly strange thing to say on
Just
TV.
Yeah, I didn't
the
realize that
slogan.
until right now. And then their whole thing was like the juice dripping out of the burger, like the ketchup like splattering out of the burger all over the star.
Yeah.
That star got a ketchup facial.
That
was
star got
weird.
bukakied all the time. Eventually, just over the years, the star's like
The
smile,
smile
just
just
comes
starts
down more and more and more. And the eyes are just half shut, just like totally broken,
Circles, bags start forming.
just malnourished. And
Well, we've been giving the star uppers, but it's just
it doesn't seem to have any effect anymore.
track marks running
Yeah.
down its star arms.
Just roped to a bed with heroin going into it.
Carl's Jr. is now maximum cruelty to stars.
And then the new logo is just Ashton Kutcher behind the star, just like hugging it with one arm.
the white savior.
Man, we've really gone into Ashton Kutcher lately.
Yeah, what's our deal with him?
I don't know.
You hear about Danny Masterson, Hyde from that 70s show? He raped
that
a bunch
bummed
of
me
women
out.
or girls or
Yeah.
something? Yeah,
What the
fucking
fuck? Why you gotta do that stuff?
Fucking, he deserves to go to prison for that show, The Ranch.
oh
I mean, fuck the girl. I mean, okay, yeah, no, I don't mean that. The rapes were terrible.
Vince said, fuck the girl.
Yeah, fuck the girl if you want, but don't do The Ranch. Dude, that show is terrible. I'm not going to say that. Never mind.
Say what?
I was like, I hate that show more than I hate rape, but that's not true.
Okay, one
that
thing
show
I do
is
want to
a
say.
rape of
Yeah.
the genre
Yeah.
of the sitcom because
Right.
it is just, hey, everybody, this is a sitcom. Laugh right here.
Yeah.
And we're just going to
And the
pump
set
out
is like-
absolute nonsense.
I feel like they just
Yeah.
reused that 70s show set. Like, the set is so bad.
So for some reason, fucking Taj just shows up. Is Taj from The Big Bang Theory? Is that what I'm thinking of? The Indian guy from The Big Bang
I don't
Theory?
know.
I've tried to avoid any memories of seeing passing moments of that
Yeah.
show.
Well, I've been real immersed in it for the past couple of weeks because Hannah is like obsessed with it.
Been watching that show.
Yeah, and it's not bad. It's not bad.
No, it's bad.
That's one opinion of it.
It's not bad, but it's
It's not The Ranch,
best.
but
You get it? You get it? They're smart, but they're not really
yeah,
smart.
yeah. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah. Check out this hot girl who
Yeah.
hangs out with them.
right.
Oh, this is going to be uncomfortable.
She likes smart guys, which means you maybe have a shot. Smart guy watching this.
Which one of them desperately gets to fuck her and
Yeah.
disappoint her tonight?
Isn't it funny how in sitcoms, a guy who you would never expect to be with an incredibly hot girl is always with an incredibly hot girl? Like,
Part of the formula.
I
The
used to
main
think
guy.
that was like a weird TV trope, but honest, the older I get, the more just real that becomes. You know what? Fucking dudes in their 40s are just fat and ugly, and their wives are usually still trying and like still putting on their makeup, still
Well, and
fucking going to
also-
the gym. Like,
also, if you were to put women up to men, like women are way less shallow about appearances.
yeah, right.
So, like, if you have something else to offer, you can still get with a beautiful girl.
Like your own show.
Still get, yeah, about being smart.
I think the disconnect is the premise is that they're a plumber or
Right,
a
yeah.
UPS
A normal
driver
guy, yeah.
Or
If you don't have a good job, you have no chance.
Yeah.
If you don't make that money, you might as well kill yourself.
that's not true. I don't make any money.
Yeah, I don't make any money, and I've got a dad bod, and I don't even have any kids.
No, yeah, you're right. Chris, I'm glad you brought up the Great Pyramid because I've got some stuff to say.
Did you go?
I don't know what
Did you
that
go
was.
to...
No, but it's one of my life goals is to see the pyramids. That's like number one on my bucket list.
That'd be awesome.
Egypt is endlessly fascinating.
Yeah, I'm kind of obsessed with it. I've been for a long time. So this is my
What?
movie idea.
Okay, let me get my bearing for
Yeah, just take a second.
Okay.
This is
Craig
the
Robinson is obviously some kind of assistant to Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Jason Mantzoukas is his security or military leader.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, if Larry David would do this movie.
dude.
Yeah.
Larry David is Moses?
Well, not
Or-
necessarily. In fact, I thought it would be funny if they like talked shit about Moses.
Like they're just a group of just
Yeah, they're
like
just a
slaves.
random-
They're just
they're
a random
they're a
group of
parallel
slaves.
story.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
a random group.
Yeah. So like Moses is doing his thing, trying to get them liberated, but they're like, and who was
Being
the,
slaves has got to be rough.
Like-
how much do they complain?
yeah.
Like people keep saying things to Larry David like, "Oh yeah, that Moses, he's making
Yeah.
some more." Yeah.
yeah.
Moses
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
you know,
There's some things you don't know about the guy that I know about.
I don't know. I mean, do we need to be this aggressive? Plagues? I mean,
Yeah, and like Andy Samberg is like, he's like a sympathizer with the Pharaohs. Like he's like, yeah, we don't have it that bad actually. He's like, they feed us and everything.
oh
And
man.
Jason Mantzoukas is just a fucking psycho.
Yeah,
Like
But,
the Pharaoh's like, pull it back,
Yeah,
man.
Keegan Michael Key is kind of just like the
Yeah.
lovable doofus. Like
So-
he's not sure if they should be enslaving
Yeah, we were
people
sort
or
of
not.
thinking Keegan could sort of also be a sympathizer for the Jews. I
But
don't
like
know.
Jason Mantzoukas or Craig Robinson is like the actual fucking like evil mastermind behind it
Yeah,
all.
yeah. Like,
I feel
what,
like
yeah, basically.
just from Craig Robinson's facial expression that you have him pictured here is enough to think like he's pulling the strings.
Yeah, he's got something going on.
Craig Robinson
I know
would be
what's
a really
fucking
good
really
bad.
going
Has
on.
he played a bad guy in something?
I don't know. Not that I know of.
I mean, he's played bad guys, but they're lovable bad. Like he's not like a bad guy. Like in Pineapple Express, he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he's a bad guy,
Okay.
but he's like not a bad guy. And then okay, let's name the Jews.
okay,
Let's
Jew
play
game
Name
show.
the Jews.
that's always a start to something undesirable. Let's rephrase.
You get a badge, and you get a badge.
Let's project your casting.
So,
your casting call for Jewish characters.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that works.
Much better.
So first up, we got Andy Sandberg, Paul Rudd, who I didn't know was Jewish.
that why you added
Larry
him?
David, of course, who's like the leader, wise elder or something, I would assume.
I mean, he's King Jew for sure.
And Lil Dicky. And I don't know if you've seen Lil Dicky's show.
Oh, it's pretty good.
It's
I've
pretty
seen a little
good.
bit of
He's a
it.
good
Yeah, it's not
comedic
bad.
actor. So I was just like, yeah, throw Lil Dicky in there. But Keegan, I think, is like perfect for the Pharaoh.
Yeah.
I feel like he would be absolutely
I think
perfect.
that all of the casting is so good.
No, it's spot on.
So we were talked about this earlier, like we thought it'd be funny if in the history in which this happens, they're like in the process of building the pyramids.
Oh.
So like they're involved in the building and they're like in a camp below the pyramids, like where all the Jews are. And they're just this funny group. Their story is being showcased in the movie.
This would 100% work on all levels. I just don't know if they would touch it
Right.
at this point. In your pitches, that's going to be the hurdle. So how are you getting over that?
Well, what I was thinking is I made this and thought of this before anything had occurred that has happened lately.
Okay.
But also, if you were brave enough to make it right now, it could be great because it's sort of role reversal, like back in time, like all of these white people are slaves. And I feel like that'd be funny to watch them all being slaves back in Egypt like 5,000 years ago. And have like Jordan Peele direct it.
Yeah.
Larry David works on the writing with him a little bit, maybe, and like they just combine and make this movie epic. Or it'd be a flop. I don't know.
I don't want to say right now is the best time to make it, but I think like
I'm not saying
that,
it
like
is.
comedy is healing and bringing something, putting something out that like have that role reversal a little bit. I don't know, just the power dynamic of it.
At least right now, it would be a gamble if it came out right now.
I just think with this cast, how could they fuck it up?
Right.
It just reminds me. It's so reminiscent of like Blazing Saddles type of shit, like Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks and like that whole comedy. Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor and like. They made movies together all the time that were like crossing those boundaries, that were breaking down those race boundaries and like making fun of both sides, you know?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
together, like coming together.
That's the way I was thinking
and
of
being
it.
funny about it on both sides. Like, yeah, we understand. Like, shit's fucked up, culture's fucked up.
But that's
there's
when
a
you
weird
need
power
comedy.
struggle right now. But like, let's find the parts about it that we can laugh about together. You know?
Here's the thing. not everybody, especially in times like this, not everybody wants something like this.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to make a joke to feel better. Not everybody wants to make light of whatever's going on and escape the realities of what's happening. But the other side of people want exactly that.
Yeah.
So it's sort of just like, you can't please everybody. Some people prefer these things. Some people prefer this. I feel like for me, at least, like doing this podcast, obviously it's up to you guys what you want to say, what you feel is crossing a line or not. But I mean, the last one we did, we shared our true, honest feelings about everything. And we made it clear, like, where we stand on stuff seriously. And it's not like, oh, one and done, that's our stamp, that's our badge of approval, and now we can just say the most terrible things we want over and over and over.
Yeah.
It's not like a pass, I'm just saying, like, for me and anyone who follows the podcast, keeps coming back to listen to new episodes, you know what we've done in the past, and you're still listening because you like what we've done in the past.
Right.
So, like, just at least know that this is how we really feel about stuff when we're serious, and this is our sense of humor.
Yeah.
Don't be like, I can't believe it was such a shift from your last one to the next. You're talking about rape and blah, blah. It's like, okay, well, it's a safe space for us to use our senses of humor and know that we're not going to fucking slit each other's throat for saying something. In my eyes, that's what this is for me, but I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I feel like
This visual, this
visual is a perfect representation. Like, comedy is a part of culture because it pushes culture in different directions. And personally, I think that obviously you can dig down into all the details and, come up with specific examples, but I don't think you can judge someone for a joke.
Right.
Because I know what kind of jokes my mind is capable of coming up with. I've heard the things that my mind says to itself in reaction to things, and I'm like,
whoa.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and I know,
the limits of the human imagination. Like, I don't know if it's just a defense mechanism that's built into you to sort of just deal with the magnitude of things going on around you.
Yeah.
But my first reaction whenever I hear something horrible, in my mind, I start writing a joke about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Like, is it just to soften the blow or something? But I think it's just how we deal with the fact that we have to keep living our lives and
in this absurdity. Like,
and like you've said this before when we've talked about this topic about sense of humor and stuff, and even if it's unconscious, like, it is a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
But it's also just like, I would rather think of things in a comical way, especially when it's horrible, to like not ever be able to see something in a humorous light.
Right.
That would suck. And there's a lot of people that don't have that ability.
Right.
They just, everything is cut and dry and not funny.
That's what I like. I can't get into that person's mind. It's really difficult for me to like look at this, and I understand that that a lot of people could see this as problematic, or like that people would be offended. But like, if we break this down, like, what is it? What is it that, like, can you get into the mind of someone that this would piss off if they saw this? And like, what is it about this that would make them mad?
Well, for one, slavery is not a joke no matter who is involved, no matter what color you are. That's not a joke.
But like,
Key and Peele has made, there's...
Even the Key and Peele show ended what? How many years ago? 5 years ago?
Yeah, I guess
even that today might be tricky to do. Although for white people to portray slavery, what might be read as like a mockery of slavery, you know what I mean? So they could read it that way, even if that's not at all the way it was intended. It's just supposed to be funny. Like
if it's mostly written by black writers, like, what, you know what I mean?
Well, obviously there will always be someone who's upset, no matter what. But if that were the case, like if Jordan Peele wrote this movie, it would work, I think.
One criticism I've been hearing, have you guys seen Da 5 Bloods yet? I haven't watched it, but it's the new Spike Lee movie.
Saved it on my watch list.
Jennifer and I have been meaning to watch it. We haven't watched it yet, but one criticism I've been hearing about it is like they're expecting Spike Lee to have a more humanist take on all sides of the Vietnam War conflict, but what a lot of critics feel like he did is just replace the classic white action star role with just black action stars now.
Okay.
And the Vietnamese portrayal, the portrayal of the Viet Cong and the Vietnamese people is still really shallow and really like not necessarily racist, but like shows
They're clearly the enemy.
shows that he's just kind of substituting, one imperialistic view of it for another.
Just using the same tropes.
Yeah, but it's just like now you're empowering like an imperialistic view of black soldiers instead of white soldiers, but it's not like you're actually showing all of the horrible atrocities and facets of this conflict. But I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really speak to that. And
Yeah,
I
I'll
feel
see
like,
what I think. We'll
I
talk
feel
about
like
it
a
next
lot of
time.
stuff that I read from reviews is overly sensitive.
But does every movie have to be a fucking message?
Right.
You know
I think
what I mean? Can't it
it's
just be a
just
movie?
I think it's just because it's Spike Lee. It's
Right.
kind of
He's
what
known for
they've
that.
come to expect. What people
Yeah.
have come to expect from him is like for this.
So that can be
He's
read the
going to
wrong
have
way.
so much social commentary.
Right.
You're going to expect him to take special care with stuff. I don't think everybody is in any way obligated to, like what you were saying, does every movie have to be a message? Like,
Yeah.
I am not going to be offended if in Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise is, he's in
A robot.
Dubai
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
one scene where he beats somebody up on a skyscraper. Like,
Yeah.
if they use identifying marks from that country, it's like you have to represent things in a broad way.
Yeah, in a
And
way people are gonna understand.
Right, and sometimes that maybe on purpose, maybe not, is going to look like you're just inserting stereotypes into things. But it's like, yeah, but everyone in their everyday experience is inserting stereotypes in how they interact with the world. So
Yeah.
it's going to be an accurate depiction in some ways, but I don't know. It's like, how do you even please enough people with a movie now?
I still think that we should be allowed, especially in a situation like this. It's our podcast. It's our show. It's our fucking room. We're comfortable. We can say what we want to say.
Well, I think it's a reaction to the huge change that the communication technology has brought across. Like, I mean, even when we were in high school, like, there wasn't people constantly, taking pictures and recording everything we were doing.
And then posting it and having everyone comment on it like later.
Yeah, we had cell phones that we text messaged each other with, but now it's just like everyone wants to show everyone the most intimate parts of their everyday existence. And it's it's like driving. Like you drive out there and you freak out on people that if you were walking next to them, you would never think or say the things that you do, but everything is ramped up to an 11 because we're still getting used to the idea that we're flying around at superhuman speeds all the time.
Dude, I never put those two things together. And
That's
that
a
is
good analogy.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Because
I like that
people
a
are
lot.
fucking animals when they're driving.
And
It's because there are no repercussions.
Someone cuts you off and they're a goddamn cunt son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I'll fucking murder you.
But
in
it's
your
like,
sleep.
oh wait, I've done
I'll
that
fucking
too.
follow
I did
you
that
home
today.
and kill you.
I'm going to turn you inside out and set you on fire.
I'm gonna drain your children upside down.
I'm gonna suck your dick so hard you
I'm
come
just
in
gonna
my
suck
mouth
your dick, man.
until it's only balls. Just a hole left where your dick was.
But no, that's a great analogy.
That's really good because people do get really have a lot of animosity towards drivers on the road. And like if you're just walking down the street and somebody like, oh, you go to go left, but they go to go left. Oh, so you go to go right and they go to go right. And it's just like a, haha, just, oh, that's kind of funny. And then you pass each other by. You don't fucking stop in the street like, I'll fucking kill you. Just go left, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
But like if you're in your car and somebody fucking goes into your lane and then goes into the other lane and cuts back into your lane, you're like, this fucking idiot fuck.
I think driving it's a great illustration for all the crazy things that happen on the internet because there's even tribalism. Like if I see another person in the same car as me, I'm more likely to like feel comfortable.
Right,
around them.
Like,
Like,
this
oh,
person's
like-
safe.
Like, oh yeah, they made the same decision as me. All right, like we're gonna drive together.
Kia brothers.
That's what is that? Auto discrimination hallucination.
Yeah.
Well, people have
Autoerotic
People have
pics.
bumper stickers like straight up, like it's a child peeing on a Ford. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're saying you're driving a different car than me. Fuck you. It's like, okay.
Fuck them.
We'll never get along.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the internet. Is like so many people talk past each other or have really minute differences in opinion, but they blow up into these crazy arguments on Reddit or Twitter or whatever because they just like focus in on one part of what someone said, and then the next person only focuses on one part of what the other person said, and pretty soon whatever the issue was that you were actually mad or wanted to discuss is gone.
Yeah.
And you're arguing about Donald
It just
Trump.
becomes about
It's like-
winning at that point.
Multiply exponentially by 2 billion.
Yeah.
It's just-
Are you guys on Twitter? You active on Twitter at all?
No,
I've
never have.
I was never been
not
active on
active.
Twitter. I've never had a Twitter. Well, I mean, I've had one, but never ever used it until just recently when I got really into sports betting and was just only following NBA teams and NBA sports writers. But dude, the conversations that happen on Twitter are the absolute cesspool of fucking humanity, dude. It's unbelievable. Like, you would never imagine that another human being would actually hold this opinion or say the things that they say to other people. It's fucking crazy.
It's because they're in front of their fucking laptops.
Yeah.
A whole.
If you
fucking
met
world
someone in
away.
the fucking bar or were talking to a coworker at work who had different political beliefs, like, you would never break down into the fucking animosity
No.
that is in these weird
So there's
Twitter
some sort of
threads.
disconnect happening where it's like your humanity sort of goes out the window.
But
a
you
little
get
bit.
but that anger that people feel, I feel like doesn't necessarily dissipate. Like, you still they're still associating like that liberal or that conservative that I argued with on Twitter. They're like, you're that motherfucker that I was arguing with on Twitter. Like, that hate for that group never leaves them.
That's why it's dangerous. You might be sitting at home comfortably experiencing a confrontation, but your brain is
Yeah.
telling you that
Yeah.
you're in a
Right.
confrontation.
Yes.
And it's excreting the same hormones.
And your heart rate elevates and you might get sweaty palm. I do. I argue
Yeah.
with people on Reddit and shit all the time, and I'll be fucking furiously fucking typing on my phone, and like my palms are sweaty, like my heart's racing. I'm like, I need to stop arguing with this person.
You don't want to go with the caveman explanation and be
Yeah.
like, "Well, you would never say that to my face. Like,
Right,
I will knock you out." And it's like, obviously, that's not how modern society should function, but it is literally
Yeah.
how society has functioned.
That's how we stay fucking civilized, because there's always the threat.
right there
Over the internet, there's no fucking recourse. There's no threat.
Yeah,
Like,
fear drives civility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
in a
Like,
lot of cases, yeah.
because there are repercussions if you're not civilized and if you don't have manners or morals. You're gonna get fucked up or thrown in a cage, or you're gonna be a pariah.
Or ostracized, hopefully.
and those are all huge outcomes.
And
that
what
are-
happens when someone is ostracized, when they're thrown out to the edge of town? They don't become more sane and come back
Yeah.
healed.
Yeah.
They freak out
Yeah.
and start lashing out
Yeah.
and become a crazy person.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Well, how do you guys feel about me going pee for a second?
Whatever, dude.
I mean, do you have a tarp we could get?
I tried to pee in front of him on one episode, and he wasn't having it.
He says in
I'll be
front
right
of.
back.
What he means is on to.
How do you guys feel about The Rock for president?
Dude, I would take a rock for president right now. Like, I'd take any rock. I'll take fucking Geodude. The
I would take
Pokemon.
Iraq.
If you want my serious opinion, I think the
Well,
era of the conventional candidate is over. Like, obviously, The Rock that's probably a very obvious choice. He's
Yeah.
not going to do it. So, like, why speculate about it? But what about people like, not specifically, but people like Tyler Perry, who obviously are done being a comedian and an actor and have kind of moved on to a new phase as a professional where they're producing and they're doing, charitable work and all this stuff. Like, maybe we should look at those people
Yeah.
as at least candidates.
It's not
for
a total
something
joke.
else.
Yeah. I've never heard Tyler Perry speak without a wig on.
Well,
Not one time.
Donna, would you please go in the back? I told you I got this here. You getting ready to make me slap your ass back to reality television.
Well, he still wears the wig.
Okay, he's still Medea on all of his. It's
It's
amazing.
someone like
yeah.
The Rock, who said, obviously, I'm flattered that people are raising this topic about me being president. But he did say, like, well, for one, you need something called experience, and I don't have that. He's like, so I wouldn't even consider running now. But in 2028, if I stop doing all these other things that I'm doing and people really show a serious passion for me, the idea of me running for president, he's like, I would do it. If I felt people really wanted that, he's like, I would learn everything I could and really do it.
Probably be an okay president. I don't know. He seems to work really fucking hard at whatever he's doing.
Gosh, can you imagine the workout videos? It's 4:45 a.m. I'm headed down to the bunker.
Clanging and banging.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
Fucking hell.
No, but it's also funny too when you consider The Rock, the America we all hope to be seen as, sort of visually is The Rock. Like he's multiracial, he's super articulate and carries himself in a respectable
Seems like a
manner.
nice guy. Yeah.
Seems like a really great dad and does a lot of charity stuff. Like,
I don't know. I kind of picture My America more as like a Timothy Chalamet. You know, he's kind of like brooding and young and you know, he's not muscular, but he looks like, you know, at least athletic. But you know,
he's still huggable.
Right. Yeah. Good hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can have a good cry.
Just thought I'd throw that into the
That's
throw
fine
you
too.
off point.
Yeah. Well, The Rock
That's
is a less absurd candidate to me than Donald
That's what I'm
Trump.
saying.
So it's like
Yeah.
I can't naysay the fucking guy.
Yeah.
But
I'm also not saying that The Rock should be president.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, what if and comparatively.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
had
it's-
someone tell me today that they hope Donald Trump wins a third term, or they hope that he is president for 12
Undoable
years.
thing.
They told me that. They said, I hope he's president for 12 straight. I hope that he never stops being president.
But the thing,
And I was like, I actually told them you need to take that back. I was like, that is too crazy to say. You want them to change the fucking rules, the Constitution, to allow, of all fucking people, Donald Trump to have a third term? You want to set the ball rolling on a fucking monarchy in America, and we're ruled by the goddamn Trumps. Like, we couldn't fucking find anyone else. That is just insane to me. I told them, I was like, that's too crazy. You shouldn't say
you
that.
had to say something.
I told him, I was like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't say that. I was like, you can support Trump. That's too bad that you're willing to just like support such an abhorrent human being. But you can't say that you hope that they make him president for 12 years and beyond. Like, that's just, don't repeat that to other people.
I have a point to make also. I feel like Chris should be cast as the first black Superman. Because you look sort of like Superman right now. I'm a little high, but he has Superman hair. He's got a great jaw.
Great, really good jawline.
I tell my wife all the time that she should thank the stars for my jaw. Dude, did I tell you guys that I'm having a boy?
Whoa! Yes, dude. That's fucking awesome. Congratulations.
I'm a terrible communicator.
That's
apparently.
great, dude.
Yeah,
Good for you guys. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's fucking
How
awesome.
far
Do you guys
along is
have
she?
you thought about a name?
Well, they're naming it Vince, so we already know.
That is in the top 3.
I think last time we
Really?
got together, you guys did mention that to me, and I was very uncomfortable, but also very pleased.
You got hard.
So this might sound strange, but I have a story with the name itself. The main reason Aubrey likes it, obviously, is because you were such good friends. But she also referenced you remember Recess, right? The show, the cartoon Recess.
Uh-huh.
Vince on Recess, and it makes me a little uncomfortable, but I think that is part of the root of Aubrey's specific interest in me. Is that she had some kind of childhood awakening?
Yeah, with
because
Vince
she
on
said she
Recess.
had such a crush on Vince on Recess. I was just kind of like, the light skinned black kid on recess.
Yeah. Is that me?
Like, this is strange.
Well, I mean, the thing is that could easily be true.
That happened to be her experience with life. Like led her to this moment.
I mean,
lucky
I was
you.
trying
Thank
to,
God for Vince, man.
I was
Thank
trying
God
to
for
think
Recess.
of the blonde-haired characters in the cartoons I watched.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
Well, I went
got
through
my original juices flowing.
Do you look like Sailor Moon? I don't know.
I went through most my, like, after I hit puberty, I was like specifically only attracted to girls that weren't white.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it didn't matter what race, just like I just wasn't really attracted to white girls for some reason. I have no idea why. I didn't start looking at white girls and like, ooh, nice. Until I don't know how many years ago, but I know
Like something specific steered you into.
Yeah, I don't know.
I always wonder about that. Like, how does that process actually
Right.
work? Because people end up with such specific tastes and interests that it's like there has to be.
I think about that too. Yeah.
Like, what is part of the equation that leads?
Well, they
you
say
down
that starts, you know, obviously with your first crush, whatever that age is, that prompts the rest of your life's preferences.
Really?
Sort of. Yeah.
I don't know what my first crush was. I think it was Halle Berry on the Flintstones movie. Honestly.
I remember that.
That was the first time, like,
Yeah.
my little penis, like, started doing something that I wasn't sure about. Halle Berry, when they played, like, the smooth jazz music and she walked into Mr. Slade's office in the super tight dress, I was just like, wait a minute.
Well, I mean, that's just a test to see if
yeah. I was like 6 years old, and I'm just like, okay.
You know, what's weird is mine is the exact same movie, but it was the first scene with John Goodman.
Yeah.
This guy is good and could really handle more serious roles, and that is just getting to me.
I am hot right now.
So when I was peeing, I had
A process which takes, what, an average of 13 minutes?
27 minutes at least.
Wow. Good news. P looks fine. But should we, you know, given what's going on with Gandhi, the statues, obviously Robert E. Lee statues being taken down, all those Confederate ones taken down. Sorry. Should we cancel Cairo?
Cairo? What's that?
That's where the pyramids are.
Cancel it?
All the statues of pharaohs that once owned slaves.
Oh.
That needs to stay there as long as possible.
Which
That's
ones? The pharaohs?
Egypt. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
but I'm trying to make a point. Like
I see. I
I'm
think
just
I see
raising
the
the question,
I think
like-
I see the point you're making. I just don't really draw a parallel between Gandhi and a Confederate general because, like, in my mind, the Confederacy and all of their soldiers and generals were enemies of freedom and America. Like, they were, like, their whole uprising was based on, like, we want to be able to keep being horrible people. And so it's like, why would we erect statues to, like, an enemy of our nation? We don't have statues of any of the other leaders of the countries that we were at war with. But, like, Gandhi, he wasn't like a leader of the military or a war figure, and maybe he had some shitty stuff that he did in his past, but he did some good stuff too. But, like, what good did, like, one of the Confederate fucking people do?
But their argument is just, it's our history.
But, like, there's no Hitler statues.
Take it away.
Hitler's history, and there's no statues of him.
Right, okay. Vilifying Gandhi is a bit much, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because he freed India, which is sort of a big deal. And in Asia, they have enormous statues of Genghis Khan.
Oh, shit.
And Genghis Khan raped them all.
God damn it, how come every time us Chinese put up a wall, stupid Mongolians have to come and knock it down?
They built a whole wall just to try to keep him away.
And the Chinese, to this day, at least it's not uncommon for Chinese people to revere Genghis Khan as a great leader, a great person in history, someone who gave us our trade routes and made China better because of the influx of goods and money. And
that sounds like some imperialist education shit like Gandhi had in his young life when he was taught that white people are a little bit more civilized than Indian people.
How about instead of comparing Gandhi to Hitler, how about Gandhi to Michael Jackson?
Okay.
Yeah.
Gandhi's
Yeah.
life work was about liberating a people, and Michael Jackson's life work was about making music. They both were apparently some kind of weirdos, but am I still allowed to listen to Bad and dance by myself?
Yeah.
For sure. Am I still allowed to sit in my room and jerk off to Gandhi?
That's ignorant.
Two both very good arguments. You got Bad on max volume, and you got a poster of Gandhi.
We should add those features to the maximum cruelty.
And I'm just smacking my dick with a Robert E. Lee statue.
Even if they have to take off of their VR at some point,
Yeah.
cows just have to listen to Michael Jackson and look at posters of Gandhi. This is so insensitive.
Like, what the fuck is this that I'm watching? I'm a cow.
It's a weird.
All I'm saying is, where do you draw the line, right?
Yeah, it's a weird
So-
thing going back and digging up history and deciding like,
Right, 'cause that's what
this
we
isn't
do.
what we
We're
don't
digging
agree
up
with this
lots
now.
of stuff from history.
But
Like,
that's important. I feel like it's super important to us to move forward right now as a culture and as a society, because society, culture, and as a society, as a culture and as a society, because am I still allowed to sit in my room and jerk off to Gandhi? I feel like it's super important. Yeah, we're digging into getting rid of those type of monuments, but also like a lot of people are finding out a lot of stuff about Black history in America that we didn't know before too. And so maybe the Tulsa massacre will start being taught in schools. There's a lot of fucking history to be dug. Like, should we take down Christopher Columbus statues?
See, I just don't know.
I mean, he did a lot of
know.
fucked up shit to the Indians, and he wasn't even really like that big of a fucking hero, was he? Like, what did he really do that was that great? Other than begged the queen
He's
of
just
fucking
the face of the
he was just like
arrival.
he begged for a bunch of money from the fucking monarchy in Spain to be able
But
to
it's
go
al-
on a boat. Like,
It's also been well documented and proven now that the Vikings arrived in North America before Christopher Columbus.
like Leif Erikson and all them guys. Did they
dipped out. They were just like, okay, arrows are coming from trees, and we have no idea where anyone is. So
we don't have
gonna-
smallpox,
yeah,
so
we're gonna leave.
They're just like, Starbucks? What is this? Let's get out of here.
you guys are appropriating our furniture at IKEA. What the fuck?
Why is everyone wearing masks? I believe it.
They're just living in the time we live in now, but in like a warped
They-
alternate universe somehow.
They landed
just-
in America in the year 2020.
And instead of all white people, it's all Native Americans, but exactly the same life in every way is happening. Just fucking COVID, Starbucks, fucking tall latte, iced, no whip for running buffalo. Okay, that will be 3.5 beads.
Got any pelts?
Perfect Native American time warp joke.
Not bad.
Nailed it.
Is that what they'd sound like though?
No, that was a bad impression.
I don't know. It wasn't bad.
feel
That's
like
a
I'm-
really, really hard impression to do. I feel like
Running bear says good
you can't just talk. You can't just talk more slowly. Like
If you make them
also-
sound older, they sound more
yeah.
native.
It's also just an impression of the Hollywood movie
Right.
voice,
Yes. Yeah.
which always makes it more fun.
I don't know if I've said this before, but it's pertinent. In Boring, near my dad's house,
On Burt Lane.
there is a Burt Lane. Yeah.
I drove past it yesterday, and I flipped it off. Just like,
Threw your shit at it.
you suck, street. Your name is dumb.
I was at like, I don't know, it's like AM PM in Boring or something like that. But just real quick, I'm getting out of the car and I see right in front of me a car of a Native American guy, probably my age, and a white guy, and they're speaking to each other just back and forth. But it's not in English, it's in the Native Americans' language. And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
I would be really interested to hear that.
Did you walk by him and like drop Snickers wrapper on the ground to see if you'd cry?
I wrote some real insensitive stuff on their car before I left. But no, it was just like, it was crazy because this
Interesting,
was just
huh?
like a bro looking regular white guy with this deep, dark, pitch jet black, long ass hair Native American guy. And they're just like sitting to each other chatting, rolling cigarettes. I was just like, whoa, dude, that's cool.
cool.
You don't see that very
They have
often.
They
You don't
live
even
here.
see a Native
Yeah.
American very often, let alone a white guy hanging
It's
out
like
with
somebody. It's like somebody put them somewhere.
It's
It's like, where are they hiding them?
yeah, where are they hiding? Is there any of them left?
You can't just take a whole people group and hide them somewhere
in the
can you?
desert where nothing
That's
grows.
impossible.
No one would do that. No one's that evil.
You would have to like go find them and round them up and
You
like
could walk them
I
down.
don't see it happening.
You could walk
No.
them down a really long trail and call it like the Trail of Tears or something.
The
like
Trail of Tears
oh,
of
they'd
Joy.
be crying.
The Trail of Giggles.
Not in my America.
I wanted to get your actual thoughts and experiences on some stuff.
All right.
Before this ended. Remember when that just made me think of South Park, the Member Berries?
that. Yeah.
Remember? I remember. But do you remember when Kendrick Lamar pulled that white person up on stage to sing Mad City?
Okay.
Remember the
Yeah.
song Mad City? Remember how
I
the chorus
remember
goes?
the song, yeah.
He pulls this white girl up on stage like, let's do a sing-along.
Good Kid, Mad City, that song?
Like, the N-word is repeated over and over and over again in the chorus. It's
Okay.
just part of the chorus.
Yeah.
So he pulls this girl up to sing the song with him, and she ends up, in the moment, singing every word of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he stops the concert and tells her, like, you fucked up. Get out of here. And the whole crowd is like, boo, fuck her, blah, 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 doop.
Wait. It's over.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
It doesn't
'Cause
work for me.
Schoolboy Q said that he thinks he was being weird about that.
Yeah, she's not. That's your art. That's your lyrics. That's your source material. She is your fan and enjoys your art. And the idea that you have these secret magic words that are encrypted in your art.
That she doesn't have access to those.
Right, you're not a poet, an unpublished poet that puts your lyrics under your couch. You're broadcasting them to millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of think it falls into the same thing as comedies, where like she's not saying words that are coming out of her mind.
Right.
She's repeating the words
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
say because
These
she
aren't her
likes how
original
it
thoughts.
sounds.
Yeah.
Like there has to be, it goes along with everything else. There has to be, you have to think about the intention of what's happening. A
Yeah.
joke is not the same as saying something in conversation, and singing a lyric is not the same as explaining your opinions on it. So
Right.
I think it's just goofy, and it clouds your actual message on things if you take something like that seriously.
Yeah.
You talking about these hipsters pile into your shows.
Oh yeah,
I heard you be talking about, you can go ahead and say the N-word in here.
Hell
It's
yeah.
good.
I saw that.
Turn that up.
Hell yeah. So money, you feed my family, you pay my rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you not racist. You in here listening to my music.
Yeah.
If the line comes up, I'm not expecting you to blah blah. Blah blah blah. Like, say it. It's a rap concert. Like, I'm not telling you to go out on the street and say it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Like, but when you in the concert, man, be comfortable. Like, at the end of the day, we all people. We bleed the same. We breathe the same. We all like the same music, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like, if you in my concert and the N word comes up, don't be scared to say it. Like, you know, we all having fun. We relieving stress.
A concert is you engaging in a group and focused in on the same thing,
Yeah.
focused in on the same energy and the same performance.
Right, yeah.
That's the only reason why it works. If everyone is sitting around doing their own thing, thinking their own thoughts during a concert or a comedy show, the function of the show wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to have people participating and laughing and singing along and enjoying, and they have to be participating in the same thing. That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
That's why a Zoom concert isn't as engaging, because you're going, well, I'm not experiencing.
I'm not feeling that energy.
I'm not
Yeah,
experiencing
Yeah.
the same thing as
Yeah,
everyone
totally.
else. And the idea that you can just say that, okay, we're all here literally doing nothing else but hearing the same thing at the same time, but you need to censor your specific language because of your identity.
You, and you don't get to feel this part.
Yeah.
Like, everybody else can feel this.
I mean, look,
but you 20% of my audience, like, you don't get to say this part of the song. Y'all just shut up and don't, like, enjoy this part. Like
yes,
that feels kinda
that's
weird.
how I feel about it. if I'm being honest. But at the same time, empathetically, like, I get it. That's the thing.
That's kind of where I'm at, is like, I agree with Chris, and I'm 100%. I think that Schoolboy Q's opinion of it is a little more nuanced and a little more fair, but I don't feel like I really get to fucking decide. Like, if Kendrick Lamar decides that he's not cool with it and he didn't want her to say that part, yeah, maybe you're kind of a fucking dick for even bringing her up on stage and expecting her to just know that she should censor herself. Like, that's kind of a dick move on your part. But like, I don't have the fucking right to tell Kendrick Lamar if he should be offended or if he shouldn't, or if he should kick her off the stage or not. Like, I'm just here to listen to how everyone else feels about it, and if everyone comes to an agreement, like, whatever. But I know how I feel about it. I know that I'm not racist. Like, I know that I don't hold those feelings in my heart, and I do my best.
You're just singing along to something
like,
you admire.
If I'm at home by myself, you think I'm not going to sing every word to it?
For Kendrick Lamar,
but if I'm next to Kendrick Lamar, like, I'll say it. I'll sing the whole song. Like, I know every single word. If you are the one that if I'm in your company and that makes you feel badly, then I don't want to fucking do it. It's not important enough to me to say that part of the song. But if I'm in company that's like, bro, I don't give a fuck if you sing the N-word part of the song, then like, that's normal. But I feel a little more, I don't know that I feel racist, but I feel like I'm tiptoeing around someone's feelings when I'm like, oh, they might not like this, so I'm just going to censor myself. Whereas if I was by myself, I would say every single word, but I'm like, oh, they might not like it, so I won't do it. Yeah, but that's why I just ask, that's why I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to feel weird about it. I'm not going to make it weird. I'm just going to straight up come out and be like, yo, if you want me to sing a rap right now, whatever rap I know, you want me to say the whole word or not?
Yeah, I think that's a perfectly rational way of thinking about it, is you have to take into account that everyone has a completely different experience with everything, including the way that people have used language around them. Right. So you couldn't just say that, oh, well, I can represent all black people and say that, it's not that big of a deal. It's part of a song. Right. No, that doesn't apply.
That's how you feel.
That's part of the problem. Is everybody just assumes that everyone has the same feelings on things because of
Candace Owens is black, and she said that it's all fine. So it's just like, that's such a fucking weird pitfall of thinking.
And that's why it's so slippery, is because something as culturally predominant as hip hop is, you can't just say that's part of black culture anymore. That's part of that is
our culture.
Yeah, that is one of the leading mainstream parts of American culture and international culture.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point to make. International culture, especially hip hop, is huge.
And the idea that's why it's it comes up for so many people is because there is a conflict there, because this is art that's coming from a group of people that are in the midst of a struggle for their civil rights in a country, and it just so happens that that's what everyone wants to listen to. And if you're an artist making something that is saying things that are so personal and specific to your experience and your culture, but then that personal art is being broadcast at such an immense scale, it's like, at what point does that become personal to everyone? Because I'm sure there's a ton of hip hop where you listen to if you wrote the lyrics down, you're like, no, this is not my life experience. Like, I have nothing to relate with these people.
Yeah.
Nachos, lemon heads, my dad's vote. You won't go down 'cause my dick can float.
But you do also, because it's also art, and it's part of the universal human experience. So there's things that speak to you on so many levels. And then you go, okay, well, I feel a part of that, and I feel ingrained in that, but also
that's not my experience, like, completely.
Right.
But I identify with parts of that.
It doesn't even matter if what he's saying doesn't apply to me. My mind finds a way to make it apply to my life in my present or my past. Yeah. And it attaches to my feelings. Yeah. And the lyrics don't even have to literally match up with my own experience. It finds a way, if you love it, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? Like, hip hop is pop culture now. It's no longer just underground. So it's the main genre of music in America. I think we can say that. in not only America, but worldwide. It's loved by everybody. And then I was just thinking of raising the question, like, since America drives culture and hip-hop is driving American culture, that means at the forefront of that would be black people driving the culture. Okay, so black people, in my opinion, have the stage as far as culture goes. But culture should not be underestimated. Culture is a massive thing. Culture drives the thoughts and minds and hearts of people. So culture has a huge potential for changing things, no matter what they are, at some point. Therefore, hip-hop is at the forefront of that, along with black people, for the most part at least, although it's being more inclusive, which is great to see. Because of that, having the stage time and the influence, should there be some sort of responsibility taken for using the N-word?
Like by hip-hop artists?
When someone says, you can't say that word, that's our word, my first opinion is, yeah, that's totally true. Like, it's an awful word. And then my immediate second thought is, but white people gave it to you. It was used to dehumanize you. It was used to cause you pain. And if your ancestors could see their predecessors now throwing it around to each other like it's nothing, should there be a responsibility to do something with the word? Either everyone gets to say it or we drop it completely. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you. I understand exactly where you're coming from. I think it's such a huge question, and it's wrapped up in so much history and so many different facets that it's just like so impossible to untangle. Personally, think that it is, on some level, it's irresponsible to use it so prevalently in hip-hop. I don't, but like I said before, like, it's not my place to be the tone police or like judge what fucking words people use to express their pain and their struggle. And culturally, the word itself, the different applications of it have so outgrown whatever it once started as. Yes, it has a root in history, but like, it's so far from what it is now. It's so hard to fucking separate it from hip hop and everything.
But you know what happened is that it went from the word that white people used as a weapon. Obviously, I'm talking about the ER.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it switches to GA, and now it's like a different thing.
Yeah.
It's really not. It's still that word. And it's still subconsciously, I feel, although I don't know because I'm not a black person, but like, I would assume that at least subconsciously that still stings as the word did before. Because it's the same word. It's just, you're just pronouncing it differently.
It fucking stings me.
When I hear ER, it feels really fucking uncomfortable.
Like, on some of our early episodes, like, we discussed the word and its meaning and its usage, and I was more comfortable just saying it. Yeah. Since then, I don't even, like, I would rather not even say it at all. And that was like a year ago or less.
Yeah.
And like, it's not that I'm like afraid of it, but it's just like, I'm unsure of how it's going to make someone feel. And so it's just like, why would I just want to avoid it.
I don't know, man. What do you think?
Yeah. That's the thing with the major problems. They're a problem for a reason, because not many people have an answer to it. But
yeah,
I don't know. It makes you wonder, like, how much are we arrogant to think that we have control over how things like language evolve?
Right. Yeah.
Because I
That's
don't
fair
think.
To say.
I mean, obviously, it's proven by how much trouble it causes that you can't just, we're going to decide that we're going to eliminate some form of communication that we've come up with. It's like asking people just forget cell phones were ever invented. That was a bad idea. We're just going to scrap it.
It's like, was it?
Just like, but it made a lot of things really easy. It's like, no, we're not going to use them anymore.
Yeah.
We're just going to put it down. It's like, if people think of words as like something that we have this mastery over, but it's like, once you've learned what a word means, you can't erase it from your mind. Yeah. You can't erase it. You can't erase the meanings that it has to every individual person. I would say personally that I think there is a responsibility. Like, it wouldn't be horribly unfair to tell someone that, you don't have a responsibility to tell anyone how this word is supposed to be used, but you do as a leader, referring specifically to like someone like Kendrick Lamar. It's like you are a driver of culture or influencer, like they would call them now. So the things that you put out are going to be merging with a bunch of other people's consciousness.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that I'm telling you you should change what your art is or how you're expressing it. I would think if you're being sincere about it and doing your best work, you have to be honest with the muse and realize that the way you want to say things has to be how you say it. Otherwise, it's not going to be sincere. It's not going to be true, and people are going to see that.
Yeah.
Overall, the want for just fairness in the human life experience. At some point, time aside, however long it takes, all of this has to come to a bottleneck at some point where it's going to come down to we all accept each other and understand each other, and it's all peace and love, and everyone's allowed to express themselves how they want, and it's all inclusive. Or nobody gets to do that.
So far, we have proven that it is apparently impossible.
Yeah.
Right.
So someone has to die.
If you have a manifesto that could help guide us to that point, I think of it as kind of one of those things that's so obvious that it's like a little silly to talk about, but like the fact that we are, at least how things are currently structured, change seems to be, as slow as it's ever been.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, just because of the fact that we have more information, which is another whole thing, is because just because you have more information doesn't mean you also have a lot more misinformation.
Yeah.
Which clouds everything. But just because the information is available doesn't mean that we're not steering these ridiculously huge aircraft carrier size countries where it's like to get everyone to buy into something is not as trivial as tweeting at them.
Right.
Over and over
Yes.
again.
Yeah. Getting an entire society or culture of people pulling in the same direction. It's an impossibility.
And at the same time, you're insulting them because you're telling them what parts of their experience have been unfair.
Yeah.
And no one wants to hear that. So it's
like a whole other podcast to talk about that.
Yeah. But I don't know. If I kind of try and take an overview of things, I feel positive because at least we're still trying to fulfill whatever our ideal of a person is.
Yeah.
At least it's not 1984 yet, where everyone decides that the safe bet is to conform exactly along certain lines. But it's ugly.
Struggle, although it can be ugly and brutal and sad, but struggle at least means that there's something happening. Whereas if there's no struggle and things are bad, that's the worst it could be.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people that probably are genuinely inspired and changed by things, which why I think that you can't, there's trade-offs with everything. You can't, I don't like Target. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about like what Target's stocks are doing.
Yeah.
And I don't care about the Targets in Minneapolis specifically.
Right.
But then when you start zooming further and further in, you sort of have to start caring about Target because your nephew is pushing the carts around in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so weird, is because people rebel against these institutions and, you say like burn it down and all this stuff. But at the base of that is all people.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so hard to get people to buy into systematic change, is because at every point along in the system, you're encountering human beings who feel like they are doing good and feel like they are loving family members.
Right, just trying to make it. Yeah, we're just trying to make an honest living.
Right.
Like, I happen to work at Target and you burned it. Like, fucking hell.
Right, and I happen to have ended up as a police officer and you hate me.
Yeah.
And I happen to have ended up selling loose cigarettes outside of a convenience store.
Right.
And the system doesn't accept what that is.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like, I'm not going to cry myself to sleep at night because Target burned down, but I would certainly prefer most of the time I would prefer that it didn't, but you have to realize that there is going to be chaos amongst anything that's actual societal level change, and you just have to hope that after things settle and the people that are in things for the wrong reasons and taking advantage of things, once that element is weeded out, hopefully by the people that are organizing the actual demonstrations, you hope once that dies down that instead of leveraging everything to figure out more reasons to hate each other, the police were pepper spraying, the police were tear gassing peaceful protesters. Oh no, they weren't. There were people smashing in windows and stuff. If you can get past just the actions of individuals and go, okay, let's regroup. Why was this happening?
Why are they doing this?
Yeah. Right. Hopefully there's enough people that along the way, even if they're not directly participating, they're at least inspired to go, okay, how can I make this not happen?
What I'm seeing isn't right, for sure, and I wanted to not keep happening.
And the idea of telling the politicians that, okay, your job is to prevent us from burning down the city, that might sound insane, but at the same time, that is their job.
That's your job.
They're supposed to make sure that the society is running smoothly.
Yeah, the policies that you enact should keep us from getting to this point.
And if there is enough people that, even if the foundations of what they believe don't apply directly to you, don't apply directly to your neighborhood or your local police force or your anything, if you've never had an experience that can mirror anything like what these people are saying, it doesn't make it less true for the people.
You can't take someone's experience from them because you haven't felt it.
Right. The more I get older and just kind of look around, is you just have to believe that the capacity for human empathy is not what you genuinely hope it is.
Yeah.
It's because you have to look at all this and realize, there is a point at which a lot of people literally cannot think in someone else's shoes. There's like a blockage that you hit where it's too far out of the realm of your own experience to be able to relate to it.
That sucks, though. It really sucks that people can't go there, because if everyone could go there, then there wouldn't be any problems necessarily. At least there would be a lot less. Because like I said, like, our biggest issue is just not knowing each other enough, not understanding each other enough. I feel like every problem, it's all just because of misunderstandings. These are my ideas. These are your ideas. We all want the same things. We all just want to be happy and not fucking wish for death. And we all want things to be fair. And we want to live good lives and have families. And, like, there's one thing I've learned from getting older. It's that you have no fucking idea what can happen. You have no fucking idea what can happen tomorrow. You might be in a circumstance tomorrow at this same exact time that you would have bet $3 million that you don't have. That would not have
never
happened.
happen.
And that's why it's important to just have empathy for people that are in people that are homeless, people that are addicted to drugs.
It's amazing, too, how fast people's opinions change when someone who's really close to them suddenly goes through something. A good example is like someone being strictly against like abortion, but then they become really close friends with someone, and years later they find out that person that they're really close friends with, they find out that they had an abortion when they were so old, and maybe they would have been their pregnancy would have been fine and they could have carried it to term and had a healthy baby and it would have been fine, but they weren't ready at that point and their partner wasn't ready, and so they decided to abort. But that person who didn't agree with or believe in abortion and said that anyone who ever got an abortion, I would never be friends with that person is evil. It's too late now, because now you are entwined with this human being and you have grown to love other aspects of their personality. You've grown to understand them on a human level. And so when this information comes to light, you find out that they did something that you once thought was unforgivable. You rationalize it in your fucking mind on the spot. You find a reason to. I was wrong to say that I would never be friends with someone who had an abortion. Fucking Edward Norton in American History X. I was wrong. I'd never love a black man, but this guy in prison changed my fucking experience. That's what it takes, is having a human experience with someone who believes differently than you. And you might not necessarily know that in the start, but when you find out, everybody is able to fucking change their... Okay, I shouldn't say everybody. Most people, though, when presented with that, realize the error of their ways. Some people will just bury their head in the sand and say, no, fuck that. I'm not willing to accept that I might have been wrong. But most people, they have that experience, and it makes them realize, like, my first thought about someone who might have had this experience or done something that I thought was unforgivable was wrong. And now that I think more about it, I realize that I shouldn't have felt that way about that issue.
Exactly.
And like Chris was saying in the beginning, like someone who lived here in Gandhi's time would have never fucking met someone from India. Like, and so they wouldn't have that frame of reference to be like, well, an Indian person is just like me and they're normal. They would have only fucking known what they read in whatever weird fucking tabloid people read in Gandhi's time.
I think it's going to be very interesting at whatever point in the next, who knows how long, that we are actually, if we survive, if we're actually multi-planetary.
Yeah.
Like, if you think along those lines, will that finally be the thing?
The thing that,
breaks up the group?
It breaks up the groups. What do you mean?
Well, it's the
when you're on Mars, like, it doesn't matter if you're black or white. We're both on Mars, type of thing is what you're saying.
Like the thing that astronauts always talk about, the overview perspective, where
when you see Earth from space.
Yeah, if you have this actual perspective,
that realization of
the way I think of it is either you are a religious person like a Christian and believe that all of us come from Adam and Eve, we're all God's children, or you consider the Drake equation, which calculates the existence of other civilizations equal to ours or above, even just in our own galaxy, not even in space, but just our own galaxy.
Let's turn to the one and only Dr. Michio Kaku. He's a theoretical physicist and professor. Isn't there a really high probability that there's got to be something out there even kind of like us?
We now realize that perhaps 1 in 20 stars have Earth-like planets going around them, meaning that in our own backyard, the Milky Way galaxy, there are probably a billion Earth-like planets. It may mean that life is much more prevalent than we ever suspected.
The probability that there is none like us, the Drake equation calculates as 0.
Yeah.
So if you even consider that, you would have to recognize that we are not separate things. We are simply all from the planet called Earth, and we're all humans. And out there, we'd all be seen the same.
Black, white,
so then
tall, short.
So either way, if you go religious or if you go extraterrestrial, like, we're all still the same.
Or like even scientifically down to a biological level, like our DNA, our like genome, like DNA. Like there's no difference between a black and a white person other than the melanin in their skin. Like, our brains aren't different, our bodies aren't different.
Protecting us from cancer.
Yeah, like it's such a silly to me. Like, people sometimes will bring that up. Like, there's no such thing as race. But yes, on a scientific level, like, we are advanced enough now to know that that's not the case. Like, our brains are the same, whether you were fucking born in England or Africa or fucking Papua New Guinea. We're all the fucking same, you know? And so, like you said, like, either whatever, no matter if you believe religiously, scientifically, whatever, like, there's no basis for hatred.
So would you have put known racist as a title in front of my name when I edited the Cactus Black for Blacks commercial? Honestly, how did you feel about that?
I loved it. Find it hilarious.
Because I never got a response from you. I was like, hey, what did you think about that, by the way? And you were just like, well, I didn't get any, like, feedback. And I was like, fuck. I mean, I feel like Chris knows me well enough to not be offended by that, but I was like, was he offended by that?
Yeah.
I don't think I have a offended gear.
Yeah, that's not in your... You don't have that bone in your body.
Well, I'm sure it's there. A rarity. It would have to be pushed pretty far.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I think you really, down to your fucking bones, you seem to really understand the intent thing behind it. Like, that's what really matters.
Is it interesting, speaking of fingers, the whole, if you go to Britain and do the peace sign, that's fuck you.
Is it really?
That's their middle finger.
No.
I better be careful.
The peace sign up like this, not the forward Japanese one.
Okay.
But the peace like this, that is their equivalent of the middle finger. And the reason why that is because back in the Dark Ages, when they were at war and they were captured, if they were prisoners of war, they would have their bow drawing fingers cut off. So their two peace fingers would be cut off. And so as like a battle cry, like a fuck you to the other opposing army, everyone in the front lines would line up and show their two fingers. Like, we still got our bow fingers, bitch. Like,
I just thought
that's
Eddie
what that
Murphy.
means. Isn't
That's
that
kinda
cool?
crazy.
History is cool.
Ours is better.
Middle finger looks way more offensive.
Well, it's harder to do.
Do you like, what do you like, the middle finger by itself or with the thumb out? Like,
we were just talking about this.
Oh,
I have
really?
spindly hands.
Uh-huh.
So when I give them, I'm always self-conscious of my middle finger. Like, it's not manly
not
enough.
a big, strong.
So I try to like cover it with the rest of my fingers.
Try to like put the other ones up halfway.
Yeah.
a little bit?
Although I will say my fingers are not indicative of my dick.
That's fair to say. That's fine. No one thought of
Okay, Mr. President.
No one thought of your
I'm not
dick
just
until
balls.
You said that. I always do the thumb, and Jennifer hates the thumb. She thinks that's fucking stupid. She's like, don't ever put the thumb out. When she's like, middle finger should just be the middle finger up as high as you. And I'm like, that looks so fucking impotent to me. I don't know. The thumb, I just fucking, I don't know why, but I'm a thumb guy. I throw the thumb out there. She's like, no, just the finger. I'm like, that doesn't feel right. I'm like, it needs to be fucking...
I just feel like it's more comfortable with the thumb.
It seems like anybody that was fucking had money or was successful or had a large following, has a large following of people, ends up banging the young ones. Why is that?
True. Yeah.
Why does that happen?
Chris D'Elia.
He did it too? D'Elia?
Well, I've been saying it wrong, and
Isn't
I
it?
know what it is.
Dude, I say so much shit wrong, but only because I've only ever read it. I've never actually heard it said. So then I'll like say something, and then someone's like corrects me. They're like, "That's not how you say that." I
fucking know.
Like, how the fuck would I know? I've only ever
name,
read the
but
word before.
I say it wrong for some reason, but yeah, he's. I don't know all the details, but like. He's been accused of, sending pictures of his junk to underage girls
or like all these cult leaders or like religious leaders. Like inevitably, it ends up with some weird sexual shit.
Yeah,
even fucking Gandhi. Like what? Why is that?
Because I think that
because it's our strongest driving biological fucking factor.
Yeah,
like,
there is some serious.
Well, I've heard scientists say that if you really, really break it down to the very root of it all, the root of innovation and wealth and power is all driven by the need to gain more mates. Sexually. Social capital leads to more. So when you have all those things, right, you're like, well, fuck, like I can, this is why I got it. There's nothing off limits to me now. And what's off limits? Young girls. Not off limits to me because I got all that stuff. Right, and Jeffrey Epstein's my homeboy. That's the resounding answer. I have controversial things, though, to say about the whole, like, underage girl thing. Yeah, I know those things. I feel like we've had this conversation before. We had this conversation in the first episode of LTYF. Yeah. But, like, with Chris... I don't know how young it got. See, there's a difference. It's like, if the girl's 12, fuck off. What the fuck? If the girl's matured physically sexual being at 16, I don't know, guys. I am like the fucking last guy to talk about this. So no, this is what I mean. I met Jennifer when she was 17 years old and I was 24. And now you guys are married. So it's like, I mean, we didn't fuck until after she was 18, but it's like, I would have banged her when she was 17. Well, that's okay. You know? So that's like, what I'm saying. Am I a fucking horrible person? Maybe. I don't fucking know. No, I don't fucking know. But like, when you frame it like that, like in my mind, like she had already had sexual experiences with men older than me. Like she had already been sexually active. She had already, she'd experienced that portion. It's not like I was like picking up a virgin from lunch
you know, like
Picking up a virgin from lunch.
I think there's a big difference between the general interest of a human man. I mean, it's weird to be attracted to a high schooler.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right.
But when you're a high schooler, it's not weird.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you're attracted for the same reasons when
Right.
you're that age.
Yeah.
That's the point, the same reasons.
But there's a big difference when it comes to these guys where it starts to become a hunting practice where
Yeah.
you have to realize that you're
a predator.
Like the Epstein thing is...
Well, yeah, that's the most extreme example.
He might as well have been predator hunting for underage girls.
I felt more sympathy for the predator.
Yeah. He didn't deserve what Arnold gave him. Oh, fucking hell.
Dude, this whole podcast was leading up to that line right there, I feel like.
But continue with that thought.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you can't make it. I mean, at some point you have to
there's
become an adult and realize that your actions have consequences, and that the idea that you're the only candidates for your desires are people that much younger than you. Maybe you should look in the mirror and figure out what's going on.
That's yes. Yeah. It's a nuanced.
No, I totally agree. I mean, if that's like your thing and you can't even deviate from that, like it's like the hunt for you. Like, okay, you should see somebody.
Yeah.
You know,
right?
But
you can't possibly argue that it's a one-sided thing, is because women mature at the relative. I mean, obviously not exactly the same time, but relatively the same ages as men, and the idea that you are never going to have someone who is pursuing someone who is age inappropriate is ridiculous, because they're children. That's the main problem with it, is not the fact that you are committing some kind of crime against nature, because that's just blatantly obvious that's not the truth. You're committing a crime against society's structures, which are in place to protect people that are unable to protect themselves against someone taking advantage of them.
Right.
Someone with money or power and resources or fame or all of those things.
Or just the maturity and wealth of knowledge to manipulate someone who doesn't understand the way they're feeling right now.
So the whole thing with Chris, not
D'Elia,
the comedian.
So
I don't know how many girls
still hasn't come out.
I don't know how many girls he did or did not do something or nothing with that were whatever age. I know a lot about this story. But nature and biology, it doesn't matter how old you are if you're a man or a woman. Let's say you're his age, I don't know, late 30s or something. Biologically, nature is firing every signal in the book at you to go, you should put your dick in that, because that's a good option for your dick. That's our driving force as human beings, is to
procreate.
Find something to put your dick into. Create more of you so that you survive. And so I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying I hate how quick people are to try and destroy someone's entire life over something like that. Because yes, it's wrong, but at the same time, I get it. All I'm saying is I get it. I get why he might find himself in that situation with that person. I get it. Doesn't mean he needs to go to prison.
If it's a pattern of behavior, you know.
Yes,
like
that's
if it
different.
Becomes,
that's
if
different.
it's a point where it's just like, okay, you send your dick pics only to 13-year-old girls. Like, there's something wrong with you. But it's the same kind of thing of like the girl going on stage and saying the N-word. It's like, she's probably not a racist. You know, you can't vilify her for going on stage and saying the N-word. Whereas like if Chris D'Elia thought that some girl he met on Tinder was 18 and he sent his dick pic to her and they're like, oh, she was 13, you're a pedophile. Not necessarily a pedophile. I just fucking sent a dick pic to someone, you know, like, but there's nuance.
I also
to
don't
it.
think that he's, I mean, obviously I don't even fucking know the guy, but from what I gather, I don't think that he's a bad person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. He could be doing shit I don't know about, of course.
Right.
But, like, I don't know. I just think the cancel culture is so rapid that, like...
The shit about bringing up people's past is fucked up. If you want to cancel someone for some shit they said today or yesterday, whatever. But if you're bringing up somebody's shit from fucking however long ago, like, that's like, knock it off. But if somebody comes out and says some racist shit today, then it's like
yeah, of course.
Okay, bro, you're canceled. Like, what the fuck?
So what do you think about Jimmy Kimmel? What happened with Jimmy Kimmel?
I don't know what happened with him.
So back when he was on the Man Show, remember that show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or
did he do blackface?
He did. He used to have a thing where he would be Karl Malone.
Oh, okay.
In a skit, like he would, and I think him and Karl Malone are like fine. Maybe they're not best friends, but they're definitely they don't.
Well, if
have
Karl
good...
Malone's behind with it, that's fine.
Well, I mean,
Karl Malone. That's another one. Do you know the Karl Malone story?
Like, what did the fuck did Karl Malone do?
Okay, hold on.
That's another one.
We gotta get to that, but that happened back when we were just barely out of the 90s.
Yeah,
when
the Man Show was a weird
different.
show, yeah.
But also, I mean, again, don't know the guy, but Jimmy Kimmel to me seems like a teddy bear.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like the type of guy that's
I think
out there
we can
being
all
racist.
agree that
I don't know.
him impersonating Karl Malone was not hateful.
It never came from a place of...
So he's stepping away from the Jimmy Kimmel show for a while for unknown reasons, right as this is surfacing. And it's
always
like
funny when I hear the surfacing thing. It's like it was.
Yeah, he's
on
been
a network television show.
We all saw it. Like, what do you mean surfacing? People are remembering it happened, or somebody dragged it up and brought it onto Twitter, and now a bunch of random people decided.
That's what I don't understand. Is like, isn't there enough content and culture being created right now?
Right.
Like, if we're gonna go just constantly dig through history and judge everyone for that. Like, this is going to be insane. You can't.
That's just, what the fuck? Where do you draw the line,
right.
man?
And it's like, okay, so he's probably talked about it. He's probably had a conversation about it. Is he going to do it again?
Right.
No.
You think Jimmy Kimmel's going to go do his Karl Malone impression on his fucking show at some point?
That is... Okay. Where's the line, though? This is a obviously professional makeup job.
Right.
Done by...
This isn't just like oil on the face, like red lips, like fucking Sambo shit.
Yeah. They did it on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that it is not something that I want to see on TV anymore. That's,
right. Yeah. We don't do that now.
The history of minstrel shows and stuff, it's just, it has too much weight behind it. Like, let's just not do it. You can do an impression of Karl Malone with your natural skin color.
You put your beard and everything on and your jazz uniform and your voice, and we'll know who you're doing.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
But to go back in time and be like, you're wrong for this. You must have hate in your heart. That's just
totally ignoring the idea that people can evolve.
Yeah.
And understand things differently.
If you judged me on who I was when I was in high school and compared me to who I am now, like, I would not want to go through that trial.
No,
that's not something I would want at all, because
Yeah.
it's like comparing two different people.
Well, and imagine what you were actually like as opposed to your perspective of what you were.
Because I was way more of a little shit than I thought I was.
I wasn't paying attention to how I was coming across at all.
Right, yeah,
so
seriously.
Who's this guy? See if we can recognize this guy.
Oh, that's Snoop Dogg.
That's Snoop Dogg.
I don't know who those people
character. I don't know who they are.
Yeah, I mean, how about we probably stop coloring our skin artificially?
Okay, so that's back to my point, though. Like, at some point, does everything have to be all-inclusive or locked down for everyone?
In my mind, this falls more into the...
I fucking love this.
In my mind, this falls more into, like, the let's do a movie where the Jews are all white Jews and all of the pharaohs are black. Yeah. To me, it's like, it's a satirization of, like, you know what I mean? It's pointing out the absurdity of the other side, which is comedy, like comedy in the first place. And the people that don't see that, we shouldn't even be listening to their opinions on comedy at all.
So one more thing, I guess, since we're on the topic. This girl. White girl.
Culturally appropriation.
Yes.
Although that's the same makeup that someone would actually put on. I mean, it's not really trying to imitate skin tone.
Or a particular culture.
Yeah, it's like
I'm a whore type of thing.
Yeah, big old whore.
Or a geisha, as they
call
them.
It's a geisha, yeah.
I mean,
but that's still, like,
a geisha's a whore, isn't
obviously,
it?
So I'm not going to dress my daughter up in a full geisha outfit and, whatever this is, a birthday party or something. Obviously.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to think about the fact that I am doing a cheap, rushed imitation of a culture, but I also don't think it's... She probably likes the imagery of that stuff.
So this resurfaced. This happened in 2012, and it's prevalent now for some reason because on the internet, that's what happens. And this little girl's mother went under fire from someone, probably a white person on the internet, saying, "How dare you allow your child to think this is okay? This is yellow face. This is racist." And Japanese people stepped in and had some comments.
I feel like that gets into the territory like you were talking about earlier of how can we be so arrogant as to think we have some kind of power to drive like the culture or people's ideas of this. Like Japanese people say like we're fine with it. Well, like, okay, these Japanese people that commented we're fine with it are fine with it. But what about all the Japanese people that aren't fine with it? Like there's every single person has their own different experience, and we can't be so arrogant to this group that said that they're fine with it is right, or this group that said that they're not fine with it is right. Like obviously over time we're just gonna come to an agreement or eventually, but like we're not there yet. So
yeah, totally.
This group's voice is loud about we're not okay with it, and this group's voice is like, well, you know what, fuck you, we are okay with it.
Yeah.
And then maybe this group is like, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't try to speak for you.
Well, the people that commented said that, at least according to them, that the majority of Japanese people love the idea of other cultures, other races celebrating Japanese culture. I mean, they're like,
well, and that seems logical. That seems logical to
like
me.
people buying Japanese stuff.
Sure.
And they even made the argument that the amount of detail, they said the amount of detail in this picture even is
it looks
accurate.
like they went all, it looks like they really did.
Yeah, they like named all the things like this is totally accurate.
Yeah.
And this amount of detail does not read, this amount of detail does not read as appropriation, it reads as celebration to me.
Yeah. And it's funny because I kind of feel the same way about like hip hop and American culture being a driving force in worldly culture. Like I feel proud of that. I feel happy to see other countries and cultures and communities protesting with America or celebrating hip hop or celebrating American culture. Like not every bit of American culture is great and should be celebrated, but the parts of our culture of empowerment and things like that other countries celebrate, like it makes me proud. I wouldn't be mad about cultural appropriation. I don't, that just seems silly.
I mean, would any American, if they walked into a country western bar in Japan, which I'm sure there
absolutely.
There's
absolutely.
Would they just look around and go,
this is fucked up.
How dare you wear that cowboy hat and flannel?
Get the spurs off.
You give me that flannel right now.
This is bullshit.
Well, thanks for listening to your friends, guys.
Just cut it off right there.
Thank you, Chris, for being here. And
we need to
let's do it again soon. Congratulations on the baby.
Oh yes, congratulations.
Name it Justin, not Vince, and
name it Chris, but D'Elia as the middle name.
Hey. All right, guys. See you next time.
Later.
Adios.